Hi there, Andrew D. Pope. For me, one of the strangest things of adult life, especially in midlife and beyond, is the idea that something can work externally, but not feel right and not work at all well internally. This is what I think confuses a lot of otherwise capable and intelligent midlife professionals. And I think this is where a lot of capable and intelligent midlife professionals quietly get stuck. In my experience, this is why people get confused. Externally, things are looking good. You're functioning, you're capable, you're reliable, you handle all your responsibilities, all of those good things. But it just doesn't feel right. Something inside is mismatched. Something's off kilter. For example, you may have a good salary. People may envy your salary. You have a stable job. You handle responsibility well. You're functional. You get the job done. People trust you. Okay. You're working within yourself. It's going well. However, internally, something's off. Your value system will have changed. Your definitions of success will have changed markedly. What motivated you 10 years ago, perhaps, doesn't motivate you anymore. But internally, you have less engagement, less energy, less meaning, increasing friction. And that friction creates drag and is a huge component of a feeling of dissatisfaction. You start feeling disengaged from parts of your own life, personally and professionally. What confused me most personally was this idea that something good, and a lot of people were telling me things were going really well. I should be pleased. I should be happy with this stuff. Don't be so ungrateful. A lot of things that were supposed to be good were actually feeling bad. That confused me. Really did cause me problems. How could something so good be so bad? I spent a large part of my life at that point, several times actually, feeling miserable and lost. And how it slips under the radar is that the problem is incremental. It's a gradual misalignment, not a dramatic or overt event or failure. It creeps up on you. I've said it before, it's like rust, it never sleeps. Now, interestingly, many people assume that a career will stay aligned automatically, that our identities stay fixed in time. But that's actually not the way adult life works. For example, we have changing priorities, health, family, lots of things change. We have varying levels of tolerance for things. We can tolerate some things more. More often, we tolerate some things far less. We have our value systems change over time. We also have differing and changing definitions of success. So what genuinely motivated you 10 years ago, perhaps, genuinely does not fit with who you are right now against what you do. So in my experience, a lot of career dissatisfaction is actually misalignment, not any overt or obvious failure on your part. So one of the key manifestations of all of this is psychological and physiological friction. Now that friction creates drag, and drag creates problems. So note that this psychological friction I'm talking about here is not burnout. It's not crisis. It's not collapse. It's a lot more subtle than that. So you might get that I don't like Mondays, Sunday evening heaviness. You might get that feeling of low-level fatigue all of the time. You get irritable. You might well get emotional flatness, a feeling of disengagement, a loss of curiosity, a loss of creativity. Many, many things manifest in this idea of psychological friction and drag, and life becomes something you manage rather than actively shape and participate in. So, long-term misalignment can create this physiological and psychological friction. And interestingly, people who are intelligent and capable professionals can often mask, tolerate, and compensate these kind of things for far longer, which can actually make the problem worse over time. It's a double bind in this situation. This is where people can become trapped emotionally, psychologically, practically, physically. There are actually many ways we can do this. One of them is the idea of sunk cost, where we feel we've invested an awful lot into our careers. We really don't want to waste that. We don't want to change anything. That's what we're investing in. That's the right thing to do. It often isn't. We get attached to our identity. We defend that identity. We built that identity up over time. That identity is important to us. We may have financial stability. We may have financial dependencies. We're reluctant to jeopardize any of that. So we soldier on. We carry on regardless. We can often have fear of disruption. We can have fear of many things as it happens. Fear is one of the biggest ones that holds us back and keeps us having this psychological and physiological anchor dragging along behind us. We can also have external expectations or a sense of duty imparted to us. We get a lot of pressure externally to keep going as we are. Sometimes people stay for the simple reason that the life they built once made complete sense, even though it doesn't now. They cling to it anyway. So if you think about this stuff, the problem doesn't become weakness or failure. The problem becomes unacknowledged and unidentified evolution. You're changing. Your life isn't. There's a mismatch. There's a misalignment. Now, in this situation, when people do identify it, or perhaps they have it identified for them, or life identifies it for them, they will often ask a question along the lines of, what should I do next? Well, this is actually too early to answer that question. It's too tactical a question to ask at this point. Better questions to ask yourself at this point are things like, what's changed? What feels outdated? What no longer fits? What parts of my life feel underused? Now, once you have this information, once you've answered these questions honestly, you've then got a chance to think about what to do next. So, as always, here's something well worth considering. What parts of your life still reflect an older version of you? And I'd really like to find out if these ideas match with your experience, particularly the idea that something can work in your life externally, but internally that thing no longer fits, it no longer works for you. Drop some comments. I'm always interested to hear. If you've enjoyed this video, there are plenty more conversations like this on the channel, so consider subscribing to keep or get future updates. Drop a like, it all helps. Remember, deliberate evolution beats accidental drift. I'm Andrew D. Pope. See you next time.